So, how personal is too personal? Is sharing your personal life online, is that a strategic move or is that just a breakdown about to happen?
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about the culture cancel that we exist in. We need to be politically correct and we need to say the stuff the right way and we need to do the right way in our content while what is the right way at the same time as I can't do it the wrong way because then I will be judged or I will be cancelled or people will freeze me out.
So, how to build up a strong personal brand without oversharing, basically.
Yeah, great episode, guys. See you next time.
I think, like, first of all, a lot of business owners don't like to be the brand. It divides people quite a lot, right? And it's very opinionated about being a personal brand. When should you be a personal brand and when should you not? I think a lot of people are afraid of being personal brand because they're afraid of being judged or they just like to make money in silence.
Yeah, and hide behind the bigger brand or the brand speaks for itself. And while that is for sure something that is easy to hide behind, I'm a big advocate for personal development, and building a business is the best personal development that you can do.
It's a misbelief that it equals I need to share all of my private things. I don't want to share my kids. I don't want to share how I live. I don't want people to know this about me. Like, there's a lot of things that people believe that they need to share if they want to be a personal brand. I think that's one of the things that is holding people back from wanting to be a personal brand.
Yeah, and it was me for a long time. I was in a place where I hid behind senior mentors and a bigger brand that I was a part of. And I grew into that business. I invested in the business. I owned stocks. I was sitting on the board and I was the CEO of the business. And I was still hiding behind the public figures that business had created. And when I started my coaching business, when I was like kind of going solo, doing this, helping coaches, I had a hard time recognizing and realizing that I need to be the kind of front. I need to be the face for the business. What helped me was that I'd already committed to make sure that I'm going to do whatever it takes. And I think that's like, if we come from a big commitment enough, there is no obstacle that's going to be able to hold us back. So check in with your commitment and see that, am I committed enough to overcome whatever I need? Because it's only at that point we can start to talk about the practicals. And the practicals being then personal brand wise, how do we share? How do we create content? What do we do? And how do we make sure that we are personal without having to share our private life? Because we can make that distinction.
But I'm just curious because, like, we teach people to build personal brands and business brands. Why should you have a personal brand overall? Why can't you just not have a personal brand, but just be a business, just be a logo and hide behind that? Why would it matter even?
It's really important because we meet many coaches, especially in the beginning when they're kind of like, they're struggling, they're making 10K months, they're making maybe even more than 10K per month. And what they want to do is they want to grow. But the problem is what they have been doing is that they have been running anonymous ad with funneling people, or maybe they recorded the ads themselves and that was okay because it was still hiding behind when they pressed the button, they got to a VSL or schedule a calling. You were showing up kind of as a sales representative of your business, but it's really been all about the brand. And the problem is, the first thing that we need to repair if we see that is that we need to build relationships with people. People connect with either the brand or the personal brand. In order for a brand to connect with an audience, you need to have a big recognition. So if we speak about all the big businesses or big influencers like Tony Robbins, or if we speak about a big business like Amazon, or since I'm Swedish, IKEA, or something that people have heard of, they already have a relationship to that brand. So when the brand speaks, they recognize it and they're kind of like, okay, cool. Amazon has created this new thing, or IKEA has done or opened a warehouse in our closest town, which means that we're going to be drawn to it because we already have that relationship. Now, if you come up with magiccoaching.com and you're helping people do magic stuff with your coaching, which could be entirely true, what you need to start by doing is realizing that they have no idea what that is. They have no idea what that means. And you are the bridge between them not knowing and them understanding why to invest in your coaching. So you could either take the long route and work 30 years and trying to build up your brand without being publicly published with that brand, or you could just realize that you need to be the face of that business and be the connection between the future clients and the brand.
It takes longer time and takes more money to build company brand than it takes to do a personal brand.
Yeah,
because you can do that
and
literally for free.
And the reason is because you can connect with people.
Yeah.
So I can look at you right now in this podcast. I can look you in the eyes and say, hey, this is what I think about you. I think you're amazing. You have beautiful eyes. You have a great clothes on, blah, 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 blah. But a brand can't make that kind of connection because there is no human to human in it. So when you speak to someone at IKEA, you are speaking to the representative of IKEA based on the relationship that you have with IKEA.
Yeah.
And
you believe about the brand.
Yeah. And if you call to a store that you like, that is a small store, and someone picks up the phone, it doesn't matter to you who picks up the phone because you're talking to the store that you're calling to.
Yeah.
You want specific information about the store.
Yeah.
With all the opportunities that exist in today's market, especially if we're looking virtually online, well, there isn't any recognition.
No.
And you're just one out of 5,000 coaches that they could pick instead of you. So why would they pick you? That is what we need to bridge over.
And that's where the personal brand come in.
Yeah.
Why being chosen?
Yeah.
So you get first in line. Having strong brand will make you automatically first in line, but also being able to charge more.
Yeah. Of course.
Because it doesn't matter how your business will go. If you have a strong personal brand, you'll be fine. Because if the business is really wrong and you start doing something else, well, you got the personal brand moving with you.
Yeah.
It will be easier. That's why we always talk about we build businesses that is personal brand business. Now, I'm really curious because you said another thing before about personal and all of that. So how personal is too personal?
So the distinction is fairly easy. I kind of said it before, but it's the distinction between being personal and private. So we need to figure out what that looks like. So what is private to me, which means we can go on the very, very far spectrum of what's private. We don't need to share about our toilet routines. We don't need to share about our hygiene. We don't need to share about maybe if we're a beauty coach or something like that. But we don't necessarily need to step into all the private stuff. We don't need to talk about the intimacy in our love relationship that we have with someone. Or if we're single, we don't need to overly share about the private stuff. We don't need to overly share
how
about
your dating is going.
Yeah. Like, oh, I got one Tinder response yesterday. It's like, yeah, who cares? Because we need to build it on relevancy.
Yeah.
And how do we become personal? Well, we become relatable so that people can actually look at you.
To the ideal audience.
Yeah, to the audience.
Yeah.
So that they can look at you and realize, I understand what it feels like being in that position.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really good to ask yourself, if you're oversharing relationship, as you said, it could be politics, it could be like personal trauma you got with you. Oversharing that may be a good thing to ask yourself. Is this helping my business? Is it supporting my business? Is it helping my followers?
Yeah.
Or is it doing the opposite? Is it doing anything good for them to know this? I'm going to add another thing because I think we all realize, like, when we're on social media, the difference between when we see someone who feels like they're completely authentic and real and raw and sharing, and we really feel like we get to know the person, and that the other person that feels like, oh, it's cringy, that's just too much, maybe you should not have said that. If you're sharing something very personal, you're sharing it from a place where it's still an open wound, or is it a healed wound?
Yeah, so we share scars, we never share bleeding wounds.
No, that's too early.
Yeah.
That's too early. There's just some things that is too early for you to share because you're still too emotional about it.
My wife left me like yesterday. And it's just too fast. Out of all traumas and all happenings, we're always going to learn from it. In order to learn from it, we need to have gone through it, have the distance enough to be able to observe how did I react and how did I behave through that and what did I get out of it.
Yeah.
If we were to share about open wounds, what you're going to realize is that people are trying to take care of you instead of you serving them with value.
Yeah, and it takes down your
authority
completely.
And also puts people in the friendship bubble rather than kind of have them being curious about, what's under the surface with this guy.
Yeah.
you're going to become a puppy project.
Yeah. Sometimes, oversharing can dilute like what is the message you really want to get through.
Yeah.
So understand the messaging of what I'm sharing, is that relevant to anyone? Because like we do share a lot. We are personal in sharing how we live, how is our lifestyle, what we like, what we don't like, and stuff like that. But it's also because we are sharing possible for other people. We share how we live because we live like this due to having the business.
Yeah.
And we teach others to get the things they want in their life due to their business.
There are stuff that we could do that we wouldn't do. We wouldn't rent private jet studio that you can go to a photographer and rent private jet kind of setting so that you can look like you're in a private jet. And even though we could afford to fly private, even though we could afford to drive a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, even though that is not who we are, it's not correlating with who we are as people.
No, so it's also going the other direction, like being authentic, like who are we authentically?
Yeah.
If you are going to create a brand, be authentic about who you are and what you stand for. It's not about having this picture about what you want people to believe about you. Because if you're going to do this for years and years and years and years to come, how long do you like to live in that illusion?
Yeah.
It becomes fake, it becomes inauthentic in every way.
If I were to play around with just a scenario for myself, my grandfather, he always wanted a Porsche, which means that for me, it's been important that when I'm at a certain place, I don't know when, I'm going to have a Porsche because I just want it, because it means something to me. Will I, when I have a Porsche, do videos in the Porsche? Probably, because I shoot videos all over. If I help all the coaches in the world and I have infinite money, and if I start to fly private on a regular, that's what I do. It's a part of my lifestyle. Would I then create content in that private jet? Yeah, probably. And it's not because showing off the jet, it's because it's a part of who I am and my lifestyle. And that's where I think many people goes wrong. Because, there are people who does content from a private jet. Grant Cardone does. But he also flies private. That's his means of travel. And I think that is the most important part of it. Incorporating the lifestyle the way it actually is.
100%. Is it okay we close that down there? Because there's another thing I think is more interesting. And I'm really curious to hear your answer to this. Politics.
Yeah, I've been of a strong opinion for a long time that I can't really see the benefit of talking politics. No. Ground zero in content, take a stand for stuff.
Yeah.
If it is mediocre questions that is being discussed politically, don't bother. Because, it's good for dividing the audience, which you want to do. You want to find people that agrees and disagrees.
But is it the right way of qualifying your audience? Does
if you coach politicians, maybe. But
if you're doing something else, it's probably not.
We always need to consider, why am I saying what I'm about to say? How am I trying to serve the environment with what I am saying right now? Because if you're talking for you, then don't run a business.
So really, it's about being strategically deciding on what you talk about and what you're not, like strategic building up your personal brand rather than just mean stuff. And I believe the world needs to know what I mean about something.
Yeah, and if we drag it out to a big thing like the wars that's going on either in the Middle East, if I were to say that, am I sad for the people who die in those wars? Yeah. Is it politically? Yeah, it's a political conversation. That's where it comes from. Does it mean that I'm going to go into the political agendas of the different countries and start analyzing it? No, because it doesn't help the conversations that I run. Yeah. And it takes me to another thing that have guided me so much in my career, and it's choose a dignified problem. And what it means is connect to the problems that you have a real intention in solving.
Yeah.
And if you want to solve a problem, and if you're committed to, I'm going to solve this, I'm going to make a difference in this area, talk about it. Yeah. And talk about it like a crazy person. If you're not committed in making a difference, if you're just observing a problem, then you should book a dinner with your friends and then have a meaningless conversation. Yeah. It doesn't move anything forward.
Which means that if we overexposure, we have the risk of diluting the brand or our value. If we undershare, there's an even bigger risk as well, because undersharing is risk of being invisible and be generic. Yeah. You don't stand out. You're generic. We don't remember you. So we want to make sure we are not doing too much, we're not doing too little, we're doing it strategically. So if we're going to give some ideas or solutions to this, how to do it, well, decide early what's off limit, what is the things I'm not talking about, so you can leave those out. And I like what you said. We have a lot of clients who have kids and say, hey, I don't want to use my kids. I don't want to talk about this because of this thing, or family members and stuff like that. You can be personal without being private around it. So really understand the distinction between personal and private when you share. But then number 2, you need to lead with opinions. You need to have opinions in today's market. If you want to stand out, people need to know where they have you.
Yeah.
They need to know what you think, what you believe about the things that's relevant to what you talk about. Otherwise, you're just beige. No one will ever remember you.
No, and it's important also to understand, you're going to hear, if you start looking into the marketplace, if you're either looking at other coaches that coaches people within your niche or that does different things, you're going to hear in ads and stuff, people saying, this is why webinars doesn't work anymore. This is why challenges is the best thing you can do to run a coaching business. This is why your VSL funnel is completely broken. You'll hear those claims that are very highly articulated. Yeah. And the reason why is because they need to stand true. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Is it the truth?
No, it's not. It's their belief.
It's their belief and it's their conviction.
Yeah.
And it also works if it's put into the context of how they work. I say webinars are hard. I also have friends that earns millions a month doing webinars and have a team and they run 50 webinars a week. Yeah. But the thing is, when you are speaking about your conviction, make sure they hear your conviction loud and clear. In order for you to be loud and clear, first be clear about your conviction and then be loud about it. And also, when you're loud and clear about your conviction, also understand that you're not trying to convince everyone. You're trying to speak to the people that needs your message. Yeah.
So a good idea to how to think about this is, first of all, have an opinion about what is the thing within your niche that some people teach that you are against. Yeah. Why is that not a good idea? Be open and honest about that. This is the thing. The problem here is this, this doesn't work. So have a clear opinion about that. Or you can have like what annoys you in this place. Yeah. Like have clear opinions about things within what you do. Yeah. And I understand if you have a lot of pleaser here, it might be a little bit hard, but you need to have your opinion. People need to know what you stand for and what you stand against, and they can choose you.
And in order to train yourself, if you have a pleaser that stands in your way and you're kind of like, I don't want to be that hard or sharp or harsh, then just think about it this way. Don't speak about it publicly. I said it before. First, you need to be clear, then you can be loud. Yeah. So think about it yourself and really dig yourself into the subject so that you can find a clear conviction. Because there is a reason why you have all the results that you help your clients get. There is a reason why you are the best coach for your kind of client. You just need to create that and find that. Yeah. And if you do, you're going to be able to speak that conviction loudly because it's so clear to you. And it is a conviction. So if we take, let's say, relationship coach that helps marriages grow closer together. A conviction might be for that relationship coach to say that couple counseling doesn't work anymore. And here's why. Because from the perspective of you as a relationship coach, it might be 100% correct if you want to navigate the result your way. Yeah. Doesn't mean that people can't get results from couple counseling again. Yeah. It just means that you've found a better way. Your conviction is that it is the truth because it is everything that you can see.
Number 3 is mix personal, being professional, and do it with purpose. Yeah. You have a clear strategy. We teach our clients to do the content plan. Like there's a system in when you're personal, when you're this, so we don't miss it out. Yeah. There is a risk that it's easy for you to share the personal, but you are like the professional is not growing. Then you'll do more personal and you forget the professional stuff, which means you are very highly connectable, relatable, but you are not building up your authority at the same time. You're not building the trust they need to pay, or the other way around. And especially on LinkedIn, we see that a lot, especially people, blue collar consultants coming from corporate that get too stuck in, I need to look professional, it needs to be like that. And it's often also, I work on LinkedIn, it needs to be like that.
And everything should be perfect, and my logo type and my fonts and my colors and everything.
And there's nothing personal. It's completely, it's like pick one of them.
Yeah, it's like going into a surgical room and be like, I'm going to lie down on this kind of bridge and be operated on. Because the thing is, it's like where we started this conversation. You're not going to be related to, which means that you're going to try to build a brand out of nothing, and you're going to speak about a thing. In IKEA, conversations are being held all around the world every minute about IKEA. Same with Amazon. Yeah. People are actually talking about it, which means that Jeff Bezos or the Kamprad family doesn't have to kind of run around speaking about it. They've done that part. Yeah. So the last thing that I want to say is that the common denominator of the levels of relationships that you can build connected with the authority that you can display is going to equal to your sales in your business, period. Yeah. So the common denominator of both of them, if you do one of them, no sales. If you do both of them, you're going to see your sales growing. And when you see your sales growing, it's going to be because they see you as the expert in your area, but they also see the person behind it. Yeah.
So you don't need to overshare to build a strong personal brand.
No.
But you do need to be like real, relevant, and have a little bit of opinions about what you do. Now, we got a task for you who are listening right now, because I want to challenge you this week to go out and post something on your social media that has a clear opinion about your niche or your market, what you're doing.
Embedded into the post.
And do tag us. Do tag it or DM us, send it to us. And that's either on Instagram, on the Millionaire Coaches Official, or you find us on Facebook on Sanne Christensen or Lucas Sköld. We really want to see that thing.
And on YouTube, you'll find all the links below to connect with us. But do that and see it as a challenge for yourself to raise your conviction, and also dare to share your opinions that your future clients needs to know in order to become successful for themselves. And with that said, guys, let's end this episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday again.